I'm Orlando Jones, and I just want you to know that the Moana Nui podcast will be starting soon. Stay tuned, yo.
I'm Veronica Taylor. I'm from myself and Ash Ketchum. I just want to say, Moana Nui, I choose you!
All right, everyone. Welcome to our 8:30 episode of the Moana Nui podcast. For those that are tuning in for the first time, we have our Moana Nui After Dark panel, and they are here to discuss the new Disney Plus series from Marvel Studios' Secret Invasion. So I am going to hand it over to our panel so they can dive in deep. And if you haven't watched all of it, just go ahead and mark it on YouTube so you can watch this episode a little bit later, but go ahead and catch up and then watch this later. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to our panel, and James, take it away.
All right. Good evening, everyone. Hello, ladies. How are you doing?
I'm good. How are
Doing
you?
well.
Doing great.
How's everybody? I missed all of y'all.
I know it's been a while. So
Yes.
Secret Invasion, off the top, let's start with just overall view of the 6 episodes we got. Teresa.
Ooh, I will say that I've seen a lot of people bashing it for whatever reason, but I liked it. It was more like it kind of reminded me of a oh gosh, what is that? Shield, Agents of Shield type thing. And I really enjoyed that. So I don't know. I guess that's the kind of Marvel person I am. I don't know what people were expecting, why it was, disappointing to them, but I liked it. I'm confused though. I don't know who's a Skrull, who's not a Skrull, what's going on. So I'm hoping to get some
If you look at my
insight on
tag,
that
it's
tonight.
everybody but the Wakandans.
Yes, I did see that.
Because that's what I'm going with.
See the comment here? People don't like it. I liked it.
We're going to get to this person in a minute, but Simone, go ahead. Your views on the show.
I didn't realize nobody didn't like it. That's news to me because
We're going to get to that shortly.
Yeah.
Well, again, I wasn't really paying attention to what other people are saying because I really don't give a damn
Probably the best way to go going forward.
what they say because fuck, you don't like it, you don't like it. I don't care. I liked it. I enjoyed it, and my favorite character is her name Sophie? Is it Sophia or Sophie? The Italian, the British chick.
Sophie, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, Dolores Umbridge. Easily one of the best.
Don't do her like that. She ain't Dolores Umbridge.
No,
She will always be Dolores
like
Umbridge
him.
to me. But I loved her though. I loved her.
Wait, is that really the lady that played Dolores Umbridge?
Yes.
No, that's not her.
Yes, it is.
No,
that's not her.
Are
You're
you
talking
sure?
to a Potterhead. That is not the person that played
she
Dolores.
don't look like her. I'm
telling you. I'm telling you.
I will look it up. I will look it up.
Look it up, Jet. That's not her.
She said, look it up.
As a Potterhead, I'm telling you that was not her.
But Joy, what was your while I'm looking this up, tell us your viewpoints on the series.
So I like the series, and because I've been so confession time. I'm deep into like Korean dramas, and that's all I've been doing in my life for the last like 6 months. But I stopped to binge all of Secret Invasion in the last like 3 or 4 days, and watching it that way, I was like, this show is great. But I do feel like if I had to wait every week, I would have lost interest because there were a couple times where it got kind of slow, and I'm like, I'm gonna go make a sandwich. But I thought the show overall was good. I would also argue that there is a contingent of diehard Marvel fans, like people that love the series, at least the cinematic universe, that are less interested in things that do not center Eurocentric heroes. And now you got Samuel Jackson is the blackest man on the planet.
Right.
Even the villain is blackish, right? And so they struggle to see themselves, except for cameo appearances by random Skrull people So yeah, I can see what they're like. I'm not into this because unfortunately, when you've been centered as the main character since Hollywood's inception, when you're not the main character, you disconnect. Meanwhile, we've been over here living second world citizen lives our whole for multiple generations. We're used to seeing someone else centered and still enjoying the show. So we enjoyed it even more because there's people like us in it. And shout out to Charlene Woodard. I have been a fan of hers since she did Ain't Misbehaving like 40 years ago. Chick is not aging. First of all, she's got to be 60 something if she's a day. And if you've never heard her sing, Chick got pipes on and can dance on top of everything else. She's a Broadway star. And I'm seeing her play Vara.
Sang.
Okay, yes, I'm sorry, I was wrong. That was not Dolores Umbridge, actress. That was Dolores Umbridge is played by Imelda Staunton.
Yes.
Sorry. Apologies, my bad. But she sounds like Dolores Umbridge to me.
She sounds British.
She sounded like Dolores Umbridge to me.
So
that's the
why
I
you're
thought
like
of when I heard her voice. So, overall, I enjoyed the series. And like Joy said, yes, I did both. I watched this week to week, and it was nerve-wracking and at times aggravating because I found my head spinning like, what's going on, what's happening, what's next? And then I did a binge watch in the background while I was working earlier today, all 6 episodes. And I wish I had done that.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well, see, I wanted to do that.
I was reading that like, how you mad? And you can't be mad. You can only be because you ain't finished.
But no, I did watch the final episode yesterday, and then I did a binge of all 6 today. And watching all 6 today, I felt better about the show watching all 6 episodes in a row as opposed to waiting week to week. Now, as far as people,
I'm also glad they kept it 30 minutes because if that had been 6 hours, I might have gave up too. It did drag in a couple of places.
It did drag in some places. I'm not knocking that. Yeah, it did. But I feel like overall the story for people who are upset from their subtle and not so subtle racial biases towards the show as a whole, I feel that one of the biggest complaints I heard was the scale of the show. And I'm like, first of all, this is a TV show. You're not going to get movie scale quality for a show. Secondly, this thing is focusing on Nick Fury and basically his PTSD from the blip and the snap, and dealing with the Skrulls' plight as well. So if he's a central figure and that's the extent of the world is dealing with the Skrulls issues, I don't know what type of scale you want. It was never going to be comic book worthy where like literally every character in the Marvel universe is going to be name dropped or, guest appearance in some way. This is 6 episodes, people, average 30-ish minute episodes. You weren't going to get that. So yeah, did it feel small in places? Absolutely. But it needed to because of what was going on. Like for me, this was classic spy TV drama from like, the 60s TV shows like Man from U.N.C.L.E.
No, V. Remember V?
Oh,
I do remember V. Yes.
Oh my God, yes.
V from the 80s. It had it in some parts where Fury was sharing the screen with a woman. It had like a Remington Steele type quality to it as well. So I especially with the banter back and forth between him and all of his women co-stars in the series.
Sophie, and then she put the patch over the owl's eye. I screamed. I'm like, that's why she's my favorite. I love her.
She was definitely a favorite character of mine for the run of the show. So let's start at the beginning. Fury comes down. Well, let's say Martin Freeman's character Everett Ross kills a safe house shield operative, is chased by Talos and falls off a building, dies, and is revealed to be a Skrull. Now that we know that there's going to be a Skrull attack, and this is probably what I was waiting for more than anything, because when the Skrulls show up in Captain Marvel, they're displayed to be a sympathetic people. And for me and anyone else who's read the comics, it's like the Skrulls is not a sympathetic group. Like, why are we helping Skrulls here? Why are they the victims of everything that's going on? They're the perpetrators.
You sound racist, James. I'm just saying.
From reading the comics, that's how they are portrayed. They are the perpetrators. They're the ones who instigate. Like, the reason they are where they are is their own undoing, basically. Like, they are the cause of their issues, literally. Not the Kree basically trying to expand their empire and then stumbled upon the Skrulls and was like, kneel to us or die, and they chose death type thing. And that's what Captain Marvel gave us. So that's all I'm saying. In the comics, it's opposite. So yeah, it was a little, I'm not gonna say jarring, but it was an adjustment I had to make. So but just the opening part of the first episode, what is everyone's take on that? Everett Ross has been a Skrull for some time, but we don't know how long.
How long?
You know, so how does everyone feel about that reveal?
I feel like he had to have turned Skrull after Wakanda Forever, because they healed him in Wakanda Forever. And if he was a Skrull, he wouldn't have been able to keep that up unconscious, right?
No. Well, after the first Black Panther film, yes.
Yeah.
Because Wakanda Forever, he doesn't even step.
Oh, I meant the first Black Panther. If I said Wakanda Forever, it's just habit.
So it's fine. Because Wakanda Forever is is he a Skrull there? Because then that's a thing now.
It's possible, because he had been back in the States for a minute.
Exactly.
How long has Rhodey been a Skrull though?
Since, I would say, for me, and this is just my running theory, that post-credit scene in Civil War where he's learning how to walk and Stanley says Tony stank. At that point forward, Rhodey's a Skrull. For me.
Long ass time.
I know. And the reason I say that is, and yes, we're going to be jumping around here a lot, audience. If you look at that last episode where they free everybody, Rhodey is still wearing his hospital
gown. Right.
Yeah.
From when they put him into the
catch that.
Now, remember the end when he's in the hospital and Tony tells Black Widow that, I've already told General Ross that you betrayed us and they're going to be coming for you. They show Rhodey going into an MRI machine.
And that's the last time we saw him.
And that's the last time we saw him until the post-credit scene where he's like, Tony stank, I'm going to remember that. So that's my running theory.
Okay.
So if it's anything after that, that's plausible too. But definitely from that point forward, Skrull Rhodey.
Yeah, I think they took them in sections. It's like you can, it'll be fun to go back and try and figure out, okay, because there's got to be some Easter eggs showing when they were actually taken.
What I read something earlier today saying that Agent Ross was wearing this when he got taken out of the machine in the end. He was wearing the same shirt that he was wearing when Julia Louis-Dreyfus had him arrested.
Okay.
Yes.
So the question that raised was, is she a Skrull?
Oh, definitely.
Oh, that's a good one.
As much as she tried to incite violence amongst the nations and start shit, absolutely Skrull. Absolutely. If we go with the hypothesis that all of the Asian provocateurs across the world are actually Skrulls trying to get us to fight each other, so we're even easier to overcome, she is definitely a Skrull.
Right. So
it gave me I think you talked to me, James, when I posted the first episode, because I had the Game of Thrones moment. I'm like, fuck, what the hell is happening here? I'm like, already? I'm like, already? We got a death already? And it's a major character? Like, what the hell?
Yeah. So, and I am not a fan of Maria Hill, but I never thought they were actually going to kill her off. I thought that.
I enjoyed her, especially when she showed up in Moon Girl. I was like, oh my God, that's Maria Hill.
Right.
Moon Girl. I was so happy. Like, okay, I don't know. I don't know.
And look, I figured that she probably wasn't dead. Like later on in episode 5 or 6, she'd make a comeback. We see Fury when he
she did not get Coulsoned. Nope.
Nah, she did not get Coulsoned at all. When he was on the phone and was like, you know what to do. I'm like, okay, that might be Maria Hill he's talking to, because I can't think of anybody else off the top of my head with everything going on. I didn't
Baby
think
Skrull shit.
Yeah, but I figured she got the Coulson Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. treatment. Maybe they just leaving her in the background for a little bit.
On Tahiti, on repeat.
Yes. Tahiti's a wonderful place. Tahiti is a wonderful place.
There is a gnat buzzing around my face because this is like all the light handles here. And apparently, when you get soil from Home Depot, it can have like gnat eggs in it. And so when I water the soil, I release the hounds, and now they're fighting gnats in my house for like a week and a half.
That's not entirely true, Latoya.
Not to mention, whenever you buy fruit and vegetables anywhere, you get the fruit fly eggs.
All right,
See, that's why I don't eat fruit.
Off subject.
So the first episode, we get a little background that the promise was that Nick Fury and Carol Danvers were going to help them find a planet, because a lot of what happens in Captain Marvel ties into this series. Basically, like the entire plot of that movie ties into the series. And how do we feel about the fact that they only went looking? And I get it, space is vast and endless, and there are planets out there. But Captain Marvel takes place in 95. They skip forward to 97 at the beginning of one of the episodes where he's saying, this is the promise. Mm-hmm. Me and Carol will help you all find a planet while you all work for me in secret. That's 2 years. That's you gave up looking. Again, as big as space is, all the planets out there, you telling me you gave up after 2 years of looking?
Bruh, let me tell you why Captain Marvel ain't shit. So not only was she out there doing God knows what across the multiverse, but when Thanos is running around collecting stones, she ain't stopping nobody. I don't know what she's doing. And she's like, remember when, who was it? I want to say Captain America asked her about that, like, where the fuck you been? And she was like, other planets needed me more than y'all do because y'all have Earth's mightiest heroes, blah, blah, blah. Other planets? And you ain't find one for the Skrulls in this whole time? It's been 30 years at this point.
But who want the Skrulls on their planet?
But I mean, she could have passed by a vacant planet. You know, it had to be some real estate out there that had to be developed. I'm serious. Like, she didn't just
stop. A vacant planet.
Right. Even if she found a planet that was in that, what they call it, the Goldilocks zone, that was far enough from its star to have life, but maybe it was hostile. Okay, build them a fucking bubble or something. Like, there had to have been some place where they could have gone. You know,
there was actually, and I'm surprised they didn't even bring this up. Remember what Thanos' plan was after the snap? Retire to the garden?
Yeah.
There was nobody on that planet but Thanos. Why couldn't they move there?
Right.
Okay, you would go and live with Thanos? I wouldn't.
Thanos didn't live long.
Thor had already chopped his head off when they found that planet. Because that's how they found him. He snapped the stones out of existence. They
after the blip.
That's fine. We can still, hey, Skrulls, I know it's been 30 years. I'm sorry, mea culpa. We got a planet for you because Thanos is dead. He ain't got no head no more.
Right. Even after the blip, they still have had 7-8 years since the blip to have done something, because baby T'Challa is like 8. So the fuck? Like, what? Why they weren't trying hard enough? I'm kind of with. It's interesting how Marvel will have you go, I kind of understand with the villain. Like, I'm kind of with oh boy, what was his name?
Gravik.
Kind of with Gravik, like y'all bullshitting. And so, you know what? We've been doing secret stuff, killing people and killing each other for this planet. We about to just murder all of y'all because we're stronger. So bye.
All right, so
Bruh, stop putting up his comments because he ain't got shit to say.
He really doesn't. He's basically just going to be an antagonist in this entire series, this entire show. He wants to be the villain, so he's the villain now.
Right, this is his origin story.
He is now the villain of tonight's episode. So he is the villain going forward. Just change your name to The Villain. Jeez. So was there, and like you said, Gravik, they're doing a good job as far as the villains, as far as what they're fighting for. We've seen it with Killmonger. To some extent, we saw it with Kang in Quantum Mania. We see it here with Gravik. You're looking at what the villains are fighting for, and the way this...
Wait, you know what, Latoya? You might be right.
You might be.
That might be Kyle. Is that you? Because remember, Kyle's like, oh, I'm not going to be able to make it tonight. I don't know what I'll be doing, blah, blah, blah. Kyle
using a pseudonym.
Found out Kyle.
You're unmasking Kyle.
So, Gravik's basically is gone the extreme way for his people's plight. And again, you gave up after 2 years. You ain't find us a planet. The blip happens. You disappear. You come back, and then you peace out to a space station without saying anything to anybody.
To drink mimosas for the next few years.
And
Talos imitates him on Earth.
Right. And you're mad that Talos was like, hey, everybody come. I mean, if you let me crash at your crib and then you disappear for 5 years, don't be mad because I got a family in your house now.
Right. We eating up your groceries.
Like we paying bills, we keeping stuff up. You know, we're handing in the
Squatters'
upkeep,
rights.
stuff. Now you want to come back and be like, get out of my house? You invited me in and then you ghosted.
So basically, Earth is eminent domain as far
yes.
It's my house.
And to some extent, I can't be mad at Talos. Now, yes, Fury has a point. The host sets the rules, but when the host is gone for 5 years, what the hell? Right. I mean, what rules what am I supposed to follow? Where you at? And then you come back basically to grab your keys and be like,
I'm going again.
And don't say nothing. You just, like, Dad went out to get a pack of cigarettes and never came back.
Mm-hmm. But it was interesting in this last episode. And now that I think about it, I can't say if this is true or not because it wasn't him that said it. But when Fury was like, when I got flaked away, the last thought I had was relief because I didn't have to fight anymore, etc. And then, so I can imagine where you finally feel like I can rest. I'm dead. So it's all good. And then all of a sudden, what? And you back.
This is right. God damn it.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, even though it was Gaia impersonating Fury, to even get that memory or that emotion, she would have had to do whatever their mind meld, for lack of a better term, is to get that memory out of him. Because she really had to sell that she was Fury in that final confrontation.
True.
So maybe
she had a little raggedy limp walk down pat.
You know, I mean, that was a zone filled with radiation, which is deadly to humans, but not Skrulls. So
I mean, he walks bad on a regular day, though.
For the first couple of episodes, yes.
You had to get that, okay, Fury's back when he put on his
the hat and the pants
and
the super fly coat.
Yeah, come on. I was like, okay, there's Fury. He's back. I was happy. I was like, yes.
You know what? I got a long black coat. It's not leather, but it might work. I might be Fury for one day at Dragon Con.
I've got a leather one.
Nice.
Do it. But I just find it funny that Fury comes out from a station after X number of years, and he's basically going all Jules from Pulp Fiction on everybody because he doesn't like the state of how things took place. And to everyone's point, from Talos to Maria Hill to his own wife, you abandoned us.
Right.
Well, you don't get to come back and raise hell, you know, trying to, you know, the path of the righteous man, blah, 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 blah. Did I break your concentration attitude with everybody when you literally dipped out into a teeth for all three of them, never really said anything.
Mm-hmm.
And look, they understood you got blipped, you came back, it's jarring. Hell, Maria Hill got blipped too.
Yeah.
Right.
He watched her fade out before he did.
Mm-hmm.
She found a way to adjust. She could have used him as something, to lean on. They could
have leaned on each other. I mean, he abandoned. He went up to the spaceship or whatever and abandoned the people that could have helped him cope. He ran off to lick his wounds and didn't ask for help, but also wasn't help for anybody else. So that was emotionally immature on his part.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So how do we feel about basically in the time that he's been gone, Skrulls have infiltrated literally every sector of government on Earth?
I'm trying to figure out why security is so lax on every damn body. I mean, like, where was Shooter McGavin's security? Like, what was really going on? I can't remember his real name.
I know he's Shooter McGavin. I know who you're talking about.
Mm-hmm. I feel like, to have so many people in such high places, you had to kidnap them at some point. I can see how they might have got Rhodey since he was doing a whole lot of rehab and whatever. I can understand that a little bit. I can understand maybe some of the other folks that are not international public, what's the word I'm looking for? Political figures. But like, can you imagine? Even you can't even get to. Let me pick somebody that nobody cares about. You can't even get to
head of NATO was one of them.
Yeah. But you take their security first.
True. And then you take the most trusted, like they did with Rhodey. Yeah. And then they could have gotten to the president if they had decided to do that, but they don't have to because the president went straight straight good old boy. He was like, we're gonna kill every last one of them.
Yeah.
Surprised he didn't say string him up, get a rope.
Yeah, he was true Trump.
Yeah, he basically was at the end of the series. That final scene,
Like, we're gonna kill you all. I'm like, yeah, okay. It's like, wow, like you that mad? I'm like, come on, man.
He was hella mad, and for what reason? They told him Rhodey was a Skrull. He was right there. He got shot. He changed. Like, all right, we get the initial shock, but we're gonna kill all you? Really?
I mean, that's what happens. Think about when your mama got mad at you and your brother. Everybody go to bed. Everybody get wood. I'm not trying to differentiate.
Yep. Yeah. When I get mad, everybody's in trouble.
Yeah, he had his, at that point, he had his I'm the president moment. Yeah. Y'all ain't gonna tell me what to do.
Mm-hmm.
True, because to that point, Skrull Rhodey was manipulating the hell out of him.
And it was so obvious. You need to kill everybody, Mr. President. It's the Russians. I promise you, it's the Russians. Like once he went and fired Fury, even when he did that, I was like, wow, Rhodey is kind of being an asshole about this whole thing.
Exactly. That's what I was thinking.
Became more and more obvious. But then it makes me wonder, because I want to look back at some of the old movies, like when War Machine first showed up. It was Iron Man 2, I believe.
Yes. Well, no, he was in the first Iron Man, but he donned the suit. It wasn't him. Yeah.
Right. We don't talk about Bruno, but when War Machine first showed up.
Yes. Okay. Well, yes.
He was funny. He was quipping, and I feel like, to your point, when he had those fake legs, which we are assuming he was already switched by then, and what was it? Was it Civil War that was going on at the time? Mm-hmm. It was one of the movies where he was talking to all the hologram people, and they're like, "You gonna be a Wonder Man?" He's like, "Yeah, I zip," and just like turned them all off. I was like, Rhodey didn't put his balls on the table. That's so unpatriotic of him at the moment. But he'd been a Skrull this whole time, and if you look back, I would bet you that his attitude shifted just enough for you to say this guy is different. You know, that'd be something interesting to do, is go back and look and see if we can spot when somebody's behavior shifts.
Yeah, that's true, because that's what I was thinking. That Rhodey was such a prick in Secret Invasion, and I'm like, I mean, they had to know something was up. He was going through the change or something, because he was awful.
And
he was a woman that would have been menopause for sure.
Right?
Like, what the hell is going on with you?
And if you pay attention to the conversation he has with Fury, I believe it's in episode 2, where they have the conversation about wresting power from mediocre white men, so that, you know, mediocre men like us black men don't also abuse said power. If you go back and listen to that conversation, Skrull Rhodey screws up because he does something that Fury mentions to Carol Danvers in the Captain Marvel movie, and that is how people refer to him or call him. No one calls him by his first name.
What, Nick?
Yes. That entire conversation, he called him Nick. And every time they had a face-to-face, even the final conversation they had, well, not the final one, but one of the last ones they had when he's in Skrull Rhodey's hotel room, Skrull Rhodey is still calling him Nick. Doesn't call him Fury. Because Fury said that in Captain Marvel. Everybody calls me Fury. My mama calls me Fury. If I have kids, they'll call me Fury. If I get married, she'll call me Fury. And to his point, his wife called him Fury this entire series. And it's like, that was like a nice little detail they paid attention to. And for us as an audience, it's something we got. If you haven't seen Captain Marvel recently, you forget that.
Falcon and the Fine Soldier. Yo, Bucky with the good hair could get it.
All of it.
All of it. Let's put that arm to use, bro.
Oh, man. All right, so we know that Gravik is now no longer concerned with finding a place or even trying to build a home on Earth. He's basically just trying to start multinational world war, and in case the Avengers get involved, turn everybody into Super Skrulls with the Harvest. And you see that
that math ain't mathing. I mean, maybe it's because they're Skrulls and their DNA is different, but I've never seen you just get all the powers and know how to use them all immediately. That sounded like some bullshit.
There is a learning curve to learning how to use powers.
They would already know because they can adjust their bodies into different people.
Yes.
So at that point, they should know, like, okay, I need to pull the Hulk's DNA. They already know how to, okay, I need to kill this person and look like this person. And all of the DNAs are in their body. So I'm pulling this DNA from the Hulk. I'm pulling this DNA. Oh, what the hell was that was the Silver Surfer. What was the ice? Who was that?
The Frost Beast.
Yeah.
From Thor Dark World.
Okay.
The movie we don't talk about.
Well, we got to talk about
it. That wasn't an Avenger. I thought it was just Avenger.
Well, no. So
DNA.
remember, the first set of DNA they had was Cole Obsidian, whose hand got chopped off when Tony and Spider-Man were fighting with Doctor Strange, and Bruce wasn't going to change in Infinity War. Groot's DNA, and what was the third one? They had the Extremis formula from Iron Man 3.
Yep.
And I'm missing something. I know I'm missing one.
Drax.
And no, it wasn't Drax. Drax wasn't one of the first four. It was Groot, Cole Obsidian, Extremis. Because it was somebody who was on Earth, who had been on Earth before Infinity War or Endgame. That
it wasn't Frosties who we were talking about?
Yeah, I said Cole Obsidian. I'm drawing a blank right now. But they had 4 different sets of powers that they had access to. Basis what
Mantis. Didn't she have Mantis?
That was at the end, but not when I'm talking about like early on when she's at the computer trying to see what Gravik is doing. And
I did look at that and like still shot it so I could take a look at it. But they had a lot of powers.
Yeah, it was 4 powers there, but but by the end, literally everybody who shows up at the compound in Endgame spilled DNA. They harnessed all of it, and that's what they use at the end of the show. So yes, and then mixed in some other heroes that they had other heroes and villains they had access to, like Abomination, like Ghost from the second Ant-Man movie. So yeah, to your point, it is weird. Yes, it's.
Cole, Groot, Extremis, and Frosted. Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. So to use them so quickly after getting them, yeah, a little weird. But for those 2 characters, not so much, considering they already had powers before that point. Remember, Gravik already had those 4 to begin with. So the adjustment to use the other 90 plus powers he got at the end, probably not that much of a learning curve. And same with Gaia, who we found out wasn't shot and killed because 20 minutes before she escaped, she gave herself powers. How do we feel about Gaia's whole play through this?
I mean, she played angsty teen, but I'm like, you like 28. So do better.
Mother of Dragons did I thought she played.
I was wondering if that was Emilia Clarke because I kept looking
at that was Daenerys.
And I never stopped to look it up because I was trying to binge through it all. But like, yeah. So I liked her arc. I wish she'd had a chance to. That have been too perfect if she had a chance to like say goodbye to her dad or whatever. You know, she just saw him down on TV. I like that she turned pretty quickly. Like if she had been riding with Gravik up until maybe like episode 4 and then was like, you're wrong. But you like from episode, honestly, 1, she was never really 100% on board with what they were doing. She just thought her dad wasn't trying hard enough. And, you know, she had that whole I miss my mom thing going on. But the minute she saw Gravik do some bullshit, she was like,
right.
I feel like I'm going to start snitching. And yeah, and it was great.
And she did.
But we're not talking about the elephant in the room. Yo, Fury been banging Skrulls since the 90s. You're not gonna talk about. I mean, it was like Captain Kirk said, "I kissed the green girl," and Fury was like, "Hold my beer."
Really, that's where you want to go?
That's where I want to go.
Have at it.
I mean, how accurate is the transformation?
I mean, considering that she took the face of this woman who's literally on her deathbed and asked
and fooled her parents. because she been living as their child too.
Yeah, and still kept in touch with that woman's family because they probably don't even know that the real her is actually dead.
Nope.
But we found out in episode 5 that with her blessing, she gave her like 3 rules.
She got that green good.
You normally smoke that green stuff.
Coochie.
We normally smoke that.
I mean, he might have.
He might have smoked it, yeah. He is Nick Fury.
I mean,
oh gosh.
But it was interesting because I do diversity and inclusion, so it was interesting to me to see them talking about being comfortable in their own skin and being accepted and living their authentic selves. And she was like, "Would you have loved me if I never put on another face?" He's like, "We'll never know." And I feel like the answer is no, but do what you want. But it would have probably taken them longer to get to a point of like romantic physical love if she did not put on a skin that he was comfortable with.
From the beginning.
But I knew that was going to
from
come
day
back
one.
up.
She chose it because she thought it would get under his defenses. Yeah,
I knew that was going to come back up when she said that.
Mm-hmm.
I was just waiting for it, and then it came back up at the end.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to jump all the way to the end, but I was stressed. I was stressed because I'm like, somebody's going to get shot in the head. I was waiting for a bullet to get put into her head before he walked out, and then he went crazy or something. Because I'm like, can y'all just get in the damn ship? Can y'all just get in this? I was like, something's gonna happen. Something's gonna happen. As soon as they got in the ship, then I was okay. I was like, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, speaking of someone catching a bullet, when she was confronted by a Skrull roadie in the church and was like, "Yo, by the end of the day, somebody in that lovely townhouse gonna catch a bullet," and they both put their guns on the table and recited that poem from 30 years ago, and both fired. Like, Teresa, give me your thoughts there.
I can't really
hand over mouth, like I was like, Fury shot her. I'm like, Fury killed her because I'm like, I know damn well she didn't kill him. I was like,
just holding my breath the whole time.
Yeah, because it's a showdown. It's coming, and they cut away as they both fire because you see them both pick up their guns. They cut away. Now you're like, all right, who dead?
Right.
Well, basically, you like, she did because
it could be Fury. Right.
True.
He got literally a dead eye, so he ain't gonna miss.
Then we come back. They both missed on purpose, and his next line, which I found hilariously entertaining, because any couple that is on, his line was, "Well, either we need to renew our vows or get a divorce." And they both look behind each other at where they fired, where the bullet missed them, and they just smile at each other. Like,
they both were willing to, they would rather die than shoot their mate, both of them. Because like she knew that Fury knew that she had been sent to betray him, and he knew that she had come to kill him, and he got shit to do, so he gonna have to survive. So both of them should have gone into it knowing that this was potentially their last day together, and rather than shoot the person they love, they're like, I'm gonna just die right here. Both of them were willing to die for each other, because she wasn't 100% sure he wasn't gonna miss.
Right.
True. But
can you imagine?
She made that promise that not to hurt Fury.
She did. But can you imagine if he would have shot her or vice versa, and then you realize that the other person missed on purpose? That's some old Aaron Burr, Anthony, not Anthony Hamilton. What's his name? It's some Hamilton and
Alexander.
Aaron Burr.
Yeah.
Alexander. Thank you.
That was a tense moment. I know for me, because like for all the reasons you just stated there, Joy, is like it's two people definitely love each other. And up until that point, I was still waffling. Does Fury really love her because of the face, or does he actually love her? And don't get me wrong. Yes, the face does play a part, but how much? And by when we get to the final sequence of the entire series, he's past it, basically. Because
he loves
this net is trolling me. But yeah, I agree, because Latoya was like, yeah, the answer is yes, because he turned her down. I still think that her taking on that face accelerated their relationship, because of course you when you love somebody, they become more attracted to you. When you can overlook a lot of flaws. I've seen some people look at them like, why is she with him, and vice versa. Love, because you love the person on the inside. And then the physical aspects, I mean, the lights out, don't nobody care, no way. But I think that for her to get, he would have maintained a professional distance from her because she was another agent. If there was no spark of physical attraction, you can absolutely have a work bestie. And she would have been work bestie until he was like, oh, you kind of fine. And then that put them on a different path. Now, could they have gotten there eventually? Maybe. But there was always going to be that very visible reminder, we are not the same species every time you saw each other. You can kind of let that slide. Mm-hmm. Exactly. She did say she picked that face to get behind his defenses. The reasons that she did it, I think she wanted him to fall in love with her and then accidentally fell in love with him.
Right.
But that it is what it is, that they ended up in the same spot. But I don't think they would have been, they probably would have been newlyweds right before the blip if she had not done something to spark his physical attraction to her.
Okay. Let's rewind back. I want to say it was episode 3-ish. After Fury basically kicks Talos to the curb because he finds out there are 1 million Skrulls on Earth. Talos gets some information. He tracks Talos down, goes into a bar, and is like, I got a lead on a Skrull in British High Command. Let's go. Mm-hmm. And Talos is like, what? I'm sorry, was that an invitation? Am I supposed to go with you? And from that point forward, it's Talos laying out the history of how Nick Fury ascended the ranks in S.H.I.E.L.D. with him and his 19 friends from that scene early in the episode, on their backs and work. It goes back to the whole thing where he said in Age of Ultron, when he's sitting around with the Avengers after Ultron basically whooped their butts, and he finally shows his face and he's like, when I was head of S.H.I.E.L.D., I used to have eyes and ears everywhere.
Yeah.
Now we know these 20 people, these 20 Skrulls were his eyes and ears. It's great the way that those lines that you think mean nothing from 12 movies ago now hold a little different weight now from everything that's happened in this series. And that's one of those instances where they play upon that. And then Gravik just pretty much is like, you're the great Nick Fury. You've done all these things, but that was because of me and my people. That's what we did. And I'm sorry, I had a little bit of I won't say kind of like Starsky and Hutch. It felt like them bantering back and forth the whole ride to get to Bob at this point. And Fury just stops the car and he's still rambling. He's like, well, what'd you stop the car for? Because we're here. You want to keep throwing shit in my face about how I screwed, y'all cleaned up my mess. Like that whole exchange. And, as far as Talos lighting him up and everything, it's kind of like that. I won't say it's almost like a love-hate relationship that you have with a close personal friend. Like y'all can have that banter where you call each other to the floor and here's where you've been effing up over the last X number time period, whatever. But I'm still here for you because we're going to do this thing. And
right. You're mad at them, but you're not going to stop.
Right. You're not going to stop helping them out.
With them because they're still your boy.
Right. But, you know what it reminds me of? Morgan Freeman and Robert Guillaume in Lean on Me.
Yes.
We have that fight, and he was like, if you're going to F me, kiss me first. And contrary to popular belief, I am the HNIC. Like, come on, let's go get something to eat.
Yes, that exactly. I could, that definitely what that was. Because basically just you can't just call and to Gravik's point at the end, even though he wasn't talking directly to Fury, you pimped us out.
Yep.
You had to keep a lie going that was never fulfilled over 30 years. So yes, this frustration mounts both with the old and the young. And that's something else I want to talk about briefly is Gravik basically galvanized all the younger Skrulls because of the older Skrulls with Talos. Let's ingratiate ourselves to humanity, prove that through our hearts and our actions, by helping protect this planet, we can be an asset and a people that can help with the human race, right? But the younger generation is like, nah, we want action now. And it's somewhat akin to, for me, it looked like they were mirroring the rise of the civil rights movement.
Yeah, Malcolm X and Martin Luther King.
Right, where the younger generation was more apt to take action, but the older generation was be patient, wait.
Yep.
Let's
by any means necessary. Yeah.
Let's do things through the diplomatic channels. And the younger folk were like, nah, let's burn all this down.
Right. They're really doing the same shit that we saw in our community in the early 2010s. I am not my ancestors type of energy.
Right. So those parallels I found very striking. I'll just say that.
And I'll say this. You're always going to have those parallels when you have a group that's in power and a group that is being oppressed and ignored. And so it's not even about skin color like green skin, black skin, whatever. It's the oppressive group and the group that is fighting for equality, fighting for a voice, etc. It's always going to parallel. We compare. Matter of fact, was it a book Cast by, I forget the lady's name. It's over here somewhere. But it's the same thing. She draws parallels between Nazi Germany, antebellum United States in the South, and the caste system in India. Same shit. People in power and then people that are being held down. You could do that all over the world. Hawaii, same shit.
Yeah.
Japan internment camps in the United States, same shit.
And while Talos is trying to go the diplomatic route and pretty much invite all these people here, that's where you have Fury's blast out line that Earth does not have the space nor the tolerance for another species. And he's absolutely right. But then I immediately think about, I'm sorry, off the coast of Norway is New Asgard. That's an entirely new species. But what you gonna say they look human?
They look human. Okay. Or you could even say they look kind of white.
Most of them.
Same thing we do here in the United States. You can have immigrants all day that come over here and overstay their visa and are actually here illegal. And as long as they present as European origin, don't nobody say nothing about it. But you let one Haitian come visit for the weekend and they chasing his ass down.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the weekend's over. Go back where you came from. Any other key points that I may have missed that stood out to you all?
I was expecting for when Gaia was killed, you didn't know that she took that power. So I was like, okay, so with her being shot, he's going to end up killing Gravik, and Fury's going to try and stop him from killing Gravik. It's going to be that. It's I just figured it was going to come to that, but then it was a complete reverse because he wound up killing her father, and she
and her mother.
For a split second, I was like low key geek, like, oh shit, Fury got superpowers. Wait, how? Wait, oh, never mind.
Right.
I mean, true, because when that scene happens, I'm like, okay, they're both in the machine and he turned it on. How does he think this is going to play out? Like, I get it, Fury's human, but you're not going to like pull the wool over my eyes and be like, just because they're two different species, Fury's not going to get powers too by being in this machine. Like, that doesn't work for me. Like, either they both getting powers or they both dying because of this machine. Like, pick one.
Well, the assumption that you're supposed to leap to is that, similar to like vibranium bees, this machine just does magic shit.
Yeah.
But it does magic, but it's calibrated for
Skrull DNA.
And so
fair.
Yeah. Fury should have gone in there looking like the early experiments in The Fly, like just pulp meat. I watched too many movies.
There's no such thing. There is no such thing. Teresa, for you, anything that stood out, caught your attention more than anything else in these 6 episodes?
Not really caught my attention. You have to understand, once again, I feel like I always have to bring it up that I don't have the comic background. So a lot of this stuff I don't know. And then the way my memory works, half the shit I used to know, I don't know anymore. So you know, by episode 6, they got literally when he was in there, or when she was in there letting the people out of the little machines, the people who had been Skrullified. I was like, wait, Agent Ross was okay. So I need to go back and watch the whole thing again.
You forgot Skrull Ross died in episode 1.
Yeah, in the very first episode, I was like, wait, I vaguely remember something happening with Ross. But was that this or was that Wakanda Forever? So yeah, my mind's a little. I get a little mixed up.
Yeah, I mean this show made me take notes. I don't know where the hell they are, but it's like, okay, I need to go and certain lines that was said. I'm like, I need to check each movie because I want
You need to go back and rewatch stuff
to see when they became Skrulls and where's the Easter eggs. I'm like, do I want to search the internet? Or I just want to try and figure it out myself. So I'm gonna try and figure it out myself first, and then when I can't figure it out anymore, then I'm gonna start scouring, seeing who's saying
But when
what.
I do catch an Easter egg, or when I do catch something and I can relate it back to another movie or something, I'm so proud of myself.
Right. Look at me, nerding out over here. Yeah.
Right. It's like, I remember that.
Joy, for you, anything that popped out over these 6 episodes?
I'll just say once again, I continue to marvel at, pun intended, the way that the MCU can give you a villain that you kind of get it. You know that they're doing some nonsense, and they shouldn't, and they're violent, and they're doing it the wrong way, but their reasoning is sound, and I think they do a really good job. Even even across the all of the Disney Plus shows, you look at like WandaVision. I can understand Wanda like losing her love and using her powers to do all that nonsense. I get that. Even in Moon Knight, he is his own worst enemy. I get that. I like that they don't shy away from a lot of things like of course diversity and inclusion, but also like mental illness or different mental states. And then it makes all of their characters more human, even the ones that are aliens, but you're able to empathize with them.
Right.
Even the villains. Across even what's the dude's name? Patriot or whatever? He was Captain America. He was like if Captain America him. Even
Isaiah
him,
Bradley,
when that line that he had in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, he was like, "You think I'm not something? Y'all made me," and I was like, "Whoa, that's deep," you know. And he was doing what he was told to do and got vilified for it. And so I can empathize. I still don't think he's attractive, so I don't find him redeeming. But I can empathize with that too. And so for me, Gravik, damn son, you know, misguided, but I get it. But yeah, you had to die.
Yeah, I think that fake Captain America just got pissed because he got his ass whooped by some black ass women.
That part that didn't have super soldier
like, they're not even super soldiers, no motherfucker.
You got your ass whooped by some women that work out.
Basically.
My favorite meme of all time will be that Captain America meme sitting down in the chair from the Spider-Man Homecoming where he's doing the PSA, but he sits down and someone just puts the words, "So, you put your hands on the Dora Milaje." That is still my favorite meme. Because when that scene happened, that meme popped up in like 2 seconds after the episode aired. I threw it up there and left it for like months because
he is not attractive.
He
looked like when he was born, he couldn't get out and it just smushed all his skin.
It was the face. It's the face. I kept telling y'all how punchable that face was.
Yes, you want to punch him in
whatever
the face.
Character he plays from now on, I'm going to hate because I just want to punch him in the face.
Dead in the nose. God. Yes. Center mass. Yeah.
And I'm not a violent person, I promise.
No, he incites violence with his face.
Y'all leave low budget Captain America alone.
No. But I will say
he did not have America's ass either. I'm still mad. Like
not at all.
Not fill out the outfit.
He didn't even have Arkansas's ass.
No, Arkansas's ass. Really?
Yeah, I'm feeling Idaho's ass. Yeah, potato shape. Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh.
Especially not standing next to Bucky.
Bucky! Woo, better call Bucky with the good hair.
All
Like
right,
he was a bad
so
man.
Yeah, we off the rails.
let's do a little speculative reaching here. The show ends. Fury's going up to the station because the Kree now want to enter peace talks with the Skrull. Weird, but it's a thing. So he goes up with his wife, but not before telling the president, "You effed up."
Yeah.
Right.
And the
Inciting
president's like, I don't
violence.
care.
Right.
Right. And we see the sequences playing out that you got little Proud Boys basically running around shooting whoever they deem to be a Skrull, and having one of three scenarios. They actually kill an actual Skrull, they kill somebody who's not a Skrull, or they themselves get killed.
Right. And become a martyr. And this is literally a witch hunt. Because if you think about the way they used to hunt witches, if they we throw you in the water, if you float, you're a witch and you're going to kill you. If you drown, well, I guess you weren't a witch.
Right, but your ass is dead anyway.
Exactly.
Hey, you here? Yeah. All right, I'm coming to get you.
But see,
I'll be right back.
Think that the president is one of those young Skrulls that followed Malik.
And see, I could agree with you if it wasn't for the line that Skrull Rhodey gave Fury's wife in the church, where he says, "The president doesn't know if the sun shines until I brief him on it."
Yeah.
Yes, but the president went into surgery. Rhodey wasn't there.
Rhodey wasn't there, but still. So, and this is the problem I have. So here's my nitpicky thing with this show, as far as the inconsistency of how the Skrulls were bleeding. So in the earlier episodes, some of the Skrulls who took damage, shot, cut, whatever, they were bleeding actually human blood while maintaining human form. Before the latter half of the 6 episodes, purple everywhere. You know, even with what's the woman's, I can't even remember the character's name now, that the woman who's heading MI6 or SIS, that Fury basically put the bug in her office. When she went to her supervisor and basically just casually walked in there with the gun, like, "Oh, I'm sorry, don't mind me, continue doing what you were doing, whatever," and then shot him in the leg, and then people came in and was like, "Oh, you'll want to look at the purple blood down there." Like, that would have been fine if it was consistent all the way through, but they weren't consistent with that. And yeah, that's me nitpicking, I admit that, but if they were consistent, I could vibe with your point there. As far as that, when that motorcade, blew up or whatever, he got flipped upside down, I mean, his blood was red, and we've already established that even unconscious, there's still a struggle to maintain something. I mean, even when she went into the meat house and cut dude's finger off and it reverted back to normal Skrull form, he maintained his form, and glancing, you miss it moment, you can see the purple blood running out where his finger was.
But the motorcade scene, that was before the surgery, wasn't it? Before he, that's what got him put into the hospital.
Yeah, which is what makes me think, because he was so adamant about killing. It's like, I'm going to get you, I'm going to kill you. Not trying to be.
Wait, what? I'm sorry. I'm just jumping back in.
The president not trying to be understanding.
Probably being a Skrull, yeah.
And, I'm thinking that maybe he's one of Malik's people, somebody who will see down the road that, okay, Malik had this.
Gravik?
Gravik. I'm saying Malik. Gravik had this person that he was mentoring, and this one believed in him so much. I'm going to take on this guy, and I'm going to go out and I'm going to kill everybody. So that's, I think he's a Skrull.
I don't think he's a Skrull, because in that moment when they're all in the hospital hallway, if he had been one, he had a chance to end it all right there and keep things going. Because remember, everybody's like doing the whole gun thing. And if he had been a Skrull, you'd have been 2-on-2. And the shock of him shooting Fury in that moment would have given them the upper hand on old girl. So they could have killed both of them, said, he would have Fury right there on the ground. Fury was here. He was trying to kill me. He's dead. And they could have kept the cover going. So I think he's not a Skrull because that was his chance to fix that if that was the case.
And him kind of going rogue and making his own decision, having his press conferences saying, we're going to kill you all. That to me kind of displays the arrogance of the human nature.
Right. And the whole, we know how to find you. No, we don't. If we did, they wouldn't be killing us.
Right. How are we going to find them? You look like us. And you just found out.
Right. Right. You found out 2 days ago.
Right.
I mean, they could do the whole DNA blood test thing,
Which we can't even do that because, we don't even know how far. They've never explained how deep their shapeshifting goes as far as we know that they can mimic memories, but DNA, how long can you maintain that cover if your DNA is scanned?
I mean, I don't think they do the DNA. I think it's just an outer coating because when they die or when they get shot, their blood is purple. And if they were really, really transformed, their blood would be red.
Yeah, and that's what I was mentioning earlier when you stepped away. That was an inconsistency in this show. There is a Skrull who is injured in one of the first 3 episodes, but the blood is red. And then in the latter half of the series, every Skrull that's in human form that gets shot, maimed, or something, it's all of a sudden everything is purple. So that was an inconsistency that threw me, for the series.
You weren't supposed to notice that. They didn't fix that in post-production.
Perfectly fine. But again, like I said, that's my only nitpicky moment as far as criticism negatively about the show. Did I want a little bit more exposition in some places? Yeah, but I'm, not penalizing the show for that. We got what they needed to give us to move forward as far as this grandiose story, because this is just one cog in a big machine, if you will. And 2 movies, one of which is done and one was in production until both writers and actors strikes. Because we have the Marvels coming in November.
Right.
So we'll probably get a little bit more information as far as the fallout from the president's decree of kill all the Skrulls. And we have the Captain America Brave New World, because that subtitle was changed from New World Order. Don't know when we're going to get that, because we don't even know if they finished filming that film. So,
well, in the meantime, Bloodhounds on Netflix is awesome. If you don't mind subtitles, dude's fine too.
I don't like subtitles.
Yes and no, LaToya. I do think it was a lot of story and yet still not enough.
And that's what they went again over DC, because DC, I have fallen asleep on every version of Zack Snyder's Justice League, everyone. But I'll be like, want to know more. They leave you, generally speaking, sometimes you are like, why is this so long? Looking at you, Dark World. But and Love and Thunder could have been an hour and 10 minutes. But generally speaking, you want to know more. Yeah. The goats made the whole movie for me, but I'm off on a tangent again.
No, that was the worst. That's up there with my Harry Potter's the Half-Blood Prince, the worst movie. My favorite book, but the worst movie. Love and Thunder.
They did not do that movie justice. They didn't do the book justice.
Okay, so let's get back to.
I want to talk about Snape.
Let's get back to the Skrulls. So we know that we're going to see something with Fury in the immediate future, like I said, with the Marvels.
Right, Marvels.
But let's speculate the president's whole thing with his edict of emergency session with Congress to, deem literally all aliens on Earth, enemy combatants.
I mean, that means that Drax, if he's there, Thor is an alien.
Well, no, Drax and them are still on nowhere.
Okay, but Thor is on Earth.
Thor is not on Earth. Thor was last seen with Love. Guardians. Remember, the Asgardians are on Earth, yes. Thor is with Love, just gallivanting in a Winnebago. flying through space, because that final sequence was them launching out and trying to kill, or I guess stop a war between two different races on whatever planet they were on. So they're not on Earth.
So what other aliens are on Earth?
Just the Asgardians and Peter Quill.
Does he really qualify as an alien?
I mean, he's half alien.
He's like expatriate. Well, yeah, he is half
the white guy,
celestial, whatever.
Yes,
and he won't turn green if you kill him.
That's what's going to be the thing. Like, Asgardians bleed red, and they're going to say, well, they're not really, And Thor's being too good to us, so yeah.
And the Asgardians are multiple races, because as we saw in She-Hulk, the Asgardian who was impersonating Meg Thee Stallion.
The Asgardians are multiple skin tones.
Yes.
They don't do race like we do.
Yeah. There are multiple skin tones and multiple different beings. There are elves, trolls.
True, that come from Asgard.
Right. That comes. So they're all deemed Asgardians, even though they are different beings.
I agree with that.
True. I'm still mad at him for punching Thanos in the face. We could not had to snap it all if he could control his emotions. Again, lack of emotional intelligence, inability to deal with your anger issues got us all fucked up. All of us.
Oh man. So anything you're looking forward to as far as fallout from this going forward? Anything you're expecting to see resolved in the Marvels? Because let's just say start there. Being that is the next big thing.
I think they're going to continue to leave loose threads everywhere.
Yeah, I can't see it jumping into the Marvels, because to me the Marvels is them trying to figure out their power and why they're jumping into each other. So I would like to see how the Skrulls story blends into theirs.
I think there will definitely be references.
Yeah.
And it makes me because I cannot wait for the Marvels. Even before Secret Invasion started, I was ready.
When does that
come
out?
Now
November.
Now I'm even more ready, because we know Fury's in it, so he's got to come back. And so we have to see how those will tie together.
Man, I wonder, if this strike is still on, are they going to be able to promote it?
Well, yeah, that's true.
The actors probably not.
Right. But I mean, with a Marvel movie like that, you don't really need a press junket, because we are so invested at this point.
From the first trailer, and they just released the second trailer, didn't they? Pretty recently.
Yeah, Latoya said you can see Skrulls in the trailer.
Yeah.
Can you? Okay.
Yeah, there's Skrulls and Kree in the trailer.
Yeah.
So well, I got to break out because my best friend came over to visit. That's why I had to go off camera for a second. So I'm gonna go be a good best friend and talk to y'all later.
They was a real best friend. They let you finish nerding out.
Yeah, tell your best friend you in the business.
She hasn't seen the last episode.
What?
Yeah. In her defense, she is a psychiatrist. She had a lot of shit to do because people are crazy. But she's gonna watch it soon. So I'll catch y'all later. Bye.
Bye, Joy.
All right, bye, Joy.
So if we don't see any fallout from this in the Marvels, what do you expect to see as far as a storyline then for the new Captain America movie? If and when I shouldn't say if, but whenever we get it. Because I'm not, at this point with the strike, I'm not expecting any projects in 2024 unless they are already done.
Yeah. And have you seen anything that said that they stopped production? I can't remember with
everything stopped.
I know, but stopped. Have you?
But
what I'm saying is
no.
If
they had possibly finished it.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They've been very tight-lipped on anything beyond the end of this year. So whatever we have that's still going to come from Marvel Studios, whether it's another show on Disney Plus, anything beyond the Marvels, we really don't know, because they're very tight-lipped as far as how far things were for anything that was originally slated to come out next year or where it was in production. I can only imagine there were set photos that had Anthony Mackie and Harrison Ford talking to each other and discussing a script that did get leaked out. So they have definitely begun filming that movie. How much of it is done at this point, they're not saying. and no one associated with the project has said anything either. So I don't expect the actors to say anything,
Right.
Because you know how Marvel/Disney is. The moment you say something about a project that you are on or may not be on, you get punished. We know Tom Holland.
Yeah, even if they wasn't on a strike, you can't. They're like, oh, I can't say anything.
Right. They're not supposed to. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so funny. One of the girls that I follow on TikTok, she always throws what's the one? Tom
Holland.
Holland. She plays him, and she's just like ties him up or puts something over his mouth.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's forever releasing some type of information that he's not supposed to be releasing.
Right.
Him and Mark Ruffalo, which is why when they were filming Endgame, neither of them was given a script until they showed up on set. Because Ruffalo let slip that everybody was going to die in Infinity War before the movie even came out.
Well, you should know that. I knew that from the comics.
Well, for the people who don't read comics,
right,
and have no comic knowledge, Teresa, they that's not something that you need to put out there. So with Benedict Cumberbatch, who basically is like one of the newcomers to the franchise, is like, hey, chill, calm down. Problems. And remember, Tom Holland is always showing off. Here's the script for the new Spider-Man movie. Dude, you ain't supposed to be showing us that.
Right.
Yeah.
So he basically is Spider-Man. He talks too much.
So
yeah. Even as a there was somebody else that I followed, and she's a cosplayer as well as part of SAG, and I was like, okay, so I can't do any character specific cosplays because I want to stand in solidarity with them. That's just me. You know, every cosplayer is not doing that, but I mean, if it's dealing with cancer and I still volunteer, I'm doing my Maleficent. I don't care because this cancer, I'm children in the hospital.
That's I think the issue is with upcoming projects.
Yeah, so, anything that's promoting
shouldn't represent a character that's an upcoming project because it's like scabbing, basically.
Yeah. And I mean, I guess I can safely say that we all stand with the actors and the writers.
Absolutely.
As far as striking, but because look, we love the form of entertainment. Hell, we talk about it on this, through this medium whenever we can get the chance to do so. And having seen a list of what the executives of the top 10 production companies make was disgusting.
Right. And then seeing the checks that the actors are actually getting, there's just like in the world, there's that 2% that makes all the money.
Yes.
There's that 2% of actors who have actually made it and are getting big bucks. And even some of the ones that you think would, they're the ones getting checks for 42 cents every month,
And the biggest issue with both the writers, or one of the biggest issues across both strikes, and something that reared its ugliest head from when we saw the intro from episode 1 of Secret Invasion, is the use of AI.
Yep.
Right. Yeah.
And when we saw the controversy that sparked when we saw the initial intro, and the showrunner saying that they used it, but the use was in such a way to show not so much that it's problematic, but the way he worded it was, I guess he was trying to save face and say it wasn't. Yes, it was intentional, but not in such a way that it was costing people actual jobs.
Right.
It's how he was trying to frame the use of it. He just didn't do a good job of explaining that. So it still comes off as you call some animators, some artists, actual money who could have done that exact same thing, and what they want to do now as far as like background actors, have them show up once and then keep their likeness in perpetuity, even beyond death, to use in
and
down the line.
That's not cool.
And possibly writing scripts. Just
for the AI. That it's despicable.
It is. And the
the revenue goes in their pocket.
Revenue
they don't want to share.
Right. They don't have to pay anybody.
Right. And again, the people making these decisions are making what I think number one on the list of executives at these companies was making just over $300 million. And these were annual salaries, by the way. Annual. 1 year, $300 million.
Ridiculous. Right.
Number 10 was making $191 million. And the kicker is Bob Iger, who recently came back to Disney, basically slowed everything down from us getting this, the overload of all the Disney Plus shows, and was like, hey, chill, let's space some of this stuff out. Yes, we're going to do these things, but we don't need them back to back to back. Let's let some time. Let's let things breathe. He opens his mouth, says something crass and heartless, and you find out he's number 3 on the list at $225 million. Talking about they have no reason to strike. I'm sorry, you are not struggling to live in the state of California or New York, where the cost of living is just like a kidney and a lung on the black market. Right.
It's crazy.
So, I mean, the executives need to shut up. They also don't need to be making 12-figure salaries.
Right.
Because that's disgusting. That they're doing that. It's insane. Look, we definitely want more shows. We definitely want more movies, but
not at the expense of the writers,
of people living.
People who are putting the stuff on, and you want to freeze them out like they should be grateful to do this. No, how about pay them a living wage?
Right.
Or don't demand that they live in New York or California. Like, you make too much money to not pay them. We mentioned, and
it's like you can't spend all of that money. You can't. Why do you need that? You can't spend all of that money.
Not in a year.
You can't.
Hell, I was struggling to spend,
unless you go and you waste money, which it's possible.
It's possible they are wasting
I've
money.
seen people who have won the lotto have just and won good $80 million dead broke.
Yep.
So I understand. It is possible.
I would struggle spending $1 million in a year, honestly. I would. Like, outside of just the basic necessities of rent, food.
You can live off of $1 million because you're living off of the interest alone. You're never touching that million. I can't. Finance people, they need to do financing or something, because
that's what Joy was talking about earlier, is like the people in power and the people not.
Right.
So, the people in power are literally making a handful of people making all the money, and everyone else is just scrounging for scraps. So,
but we've got the power to shut shit down. If everybody stands together, the airlines, you charging me for a fucking pillow? I'm not flying you no more. If everybody stops flying for one day, you can change. People don't understand the power that they have. If everybody stands together, shit can get done.
I'm hoping that this breaks the industry before it gets to the people striking, because the executives have already said, one of them has already come out and said, as far as the writers go, we're going to wait this out till the holiday season, because
they lose their homes.
People start losing homes,
and they'll be desperate, and they'll be losing their homes. I'm like, seriously?
That is sick.
So I am praying that there's a resolution reached that is clearly in the favor of the writers and the actors, because without their talent, we wouldn't have any of this stuff at all. So
they wouldn't have anything to use AI to fashion, the copies.
Oh, and my girlfriend is I didn't realize she was head of SAG.
Head of SAG.
Okay, Nanny, look at you. Okay.
All right. So, any more thoughts on Secret Invasion or what we expect to see next? I do believe the next show coming is Loki season 2. We should be getting before, I think that's October, is the next thing that we get, and then we get the Marvels in November. So
we're not doing another Wanda. She's done.
I haven't seen anything on another WandaVision.
I think that's
on the show.
Now,
don't get me wrong. Character's not dead, or she's not.
No,
dead,
I know she's not dead, but I was just wondering if that was going to.
She will pop up somewhere, someplace down the road, because it's not like Olsen is done with Marvel. She, as far as she knows, that her character
This multiverse, I'm pretty sure she's gonna somehow be.
And the fact that the Scarlet Witch is pretty much one of those all-powerful beings, and being a Nexus being, as explained in the WandaVision, you drop that little nugget. Nexus being exists in every single universe. Kind of hard to kill. So, but final.
Echo. What is Echo?
Echo is the character who's in the deaf character who's in Hawkeye.
Okay, is that
that show is getting dropped all at once, but there is no actual release date. Last I checked, they just have 23/24 as the release. It's done.
Did you watch Hawkeye?
Google says November 29th.
Interesting. Okay.
Because she was the adopted daughter to
Kingpin.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Who she ended up shooting at the end of that series.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, she was out here in she was at Comapalooza, and then she was at the Superhero Con.
Hi, Dana.
Hello.
Hey, Dana.
I was expecting it to pop me up, but my computer did its own thing.
So here you are.
Exactly.
All right. So final thoughts on Secret Invasion, Teresa.
I'm gonna hijack this because you asked me a question a long time ago, and I didn't really have an answer. But just things that were memorable from this, from Secret Invasion. When in the end, the Super Skrull fight, yes. I enjoyed seeing the different people's powers coming out. Like the limbs taking the different forms and stuff. So yeah, that was remarkable to me. Because for a minute I was like, wait a minute, are all Skrulls this powerful? But then I remembered that they're not. They're not your average Skrull. So.
Right.
But my final thought is, can't wait for the Marvels.
Yes.
Simone.
I like to see what's gonna happen with Nick and his wife. She's saying that she's only gonna go up to help, and then she's got to come back down. Why? She's got a life. She took that lady's life, so she's got to continue to live that life. Okay, I get that. I just like to see what's gonna happen with her and Nick going up and dealing with the
peace treaty.
To see if it's really going to be a peace treaty, dealing with that as well as trying to calm the president down.
Yeah, because he need a hug.
No, he needs a fucking kick in the ass. He need an elbow to the head. That's what he need. You don't need a hug. You need a black mama whooping.
I am looking forward to seeing how the fallout from all that has happened in these 6 episodes plays out in upcoming projects, beyond the Marvels, if we ever, whenever we get them. Because again, I'm not holding my breath for anything scheduled in 24.
Think happy thoughts.
I'm trying. But overall, yes, I did enjoy this series. It was, like I said, it was a lot, and at the same time, not enough. Yes, I did want more in some places, and there was still things. Hell, there's still things I'm trying to process. I know the internet is going to take care of it for me, so I'm looking forward to all the YouTube videos that pop up speculating when Everett Ross and Rhodey will replace, and pointing things out in various movies. And if you pay attention here in this movie, he was like this. And if you pay attention to this movie, he did this. And I'm looking forward to all of that. The only thing I can say for sure, at least for me, Rhodey was replaced at the end of Civil War, and Ross was replaced sometime after the first Black Panther movie. Outside of that, I got nothing as far as specific points or anything like that. But yeah, like my tag says, everybody's a Skrull except for Wakandans because they ain't about this BS.
Exactly. They are minding their business.
They are minding their business as far as everything that happened. And look, I know Chadwick Boseman's passing impacted that, but based on how they portrayed all those characters thus far, if they reverted back because of the blip, there was nobody coming and going from Wakanda. The whole, we opening our borders to live. No, we not. The Avengers is here. We kindly asked them to leave because T'Challa got dusted. Don't come back.
Yep. And Namor was like, why the fuck you opened up Wakanda? So he was pissed.
We just want to communicate via this view screen. Okoye is going to be our liaison while Queen Ramona was running stuff. And tell everybody come home or basically stay where they at. But if you ain't Wakandan, you ain't nine.
You ain't coming through.
Like we ain't dealing with your nonsense. So the whole world can deal with the Skrull invasion. Wakanda's chilling. So, Dana, anything you want to add before we get out of here?
No, I love that y'all end up talking about a strike because at our 7:00 episode with Shay Rain's LMSW, we actually talked about the strike and how to know your self-worth and advocate for yourself. So I love that it kind of tied together. But yeah, I was actually kind of curious if Loki was still going to happen with everything, not only the writers thing, but with
John
the ties with with everything going on with I can't think of his name. Yeah, so I'm like, is he still going to make his appearance, or did he film enough before?
Oh no, that show was done. That show
Okay.
is done. They were just waiting to release it, and the release date is sometime, I think it's like the first week in October, I believe.
Okay. Gotcha. So yeah, so I was just like, is it coming out? But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, especially with them trying to drag it out to the holidays. They're, realizing how much that's going to impact as far as us watching, seeing how Netflix, their profits have dropped. A number of people have cut their subscriptions because of their involvement in, affecting all these people with the writer strikes and finding out how much people are getting paid pennies for their stuff. Even the guy who wrote,
got virtually nothing.
And they're supposed to be doing a second one, and he's not going to get nothing from that.
Wow.
Well,
Google says October 6th for Loki 2.
So it's still coming out this day. Because when they announced that they were going to stop, like you talked about, James, of like, hey, reducing the stuff, spreading it out. I'm like, is Loki 2 still coming? Is that still coming out this year, or is that going to get pushed back? Because they kept shifting dates and stuff.
Yeah, and everything has been shifted dates because the Marvels was originally supposed to come out in August.
Exactly.
So it's been pushed back to November. So everything that's been done, they are trying to buy their
time. I gave up on Blade. I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I know, because boy has left the project.
Well,
Ali has left the project
because they could not tie down in his view a competent writer.
Yeah.
And
well, they kept running off folks because they went through like 5 people.
They did, because at least 3. I know at least 3 writers were like signed on and then were quickly dismissed because of butting heads with either Mahershala Ali or Marvel Studios as a whole. Because again, you can still tell whatever story you want. It just needs to fit into the grand scope of whatever wherever your movie falls as far as the phase.
They're like, we are not doing DC.
So you come in and want to write stuff. You can do your thing, but you need to hit these couple of points, and it still needs to fit in our overarching theme. And as long as it does that, you're cool.
Yeah, because we have to have those Easter eggs to connect.
In the timeline.
So, I mean, look, the way, what is this, phase 5 we're in right now? And I don't know if the Marvels is supposed to be the final film in that or not, but
Originally, it wasn't supposed to be.
It may be right now.
Yeah.
So, like I
So
said,
we'll see.
I'm
But yeah,
praying, keeping my fingers crossed. But if it's not already done, not holding my breath.
yeah. So yeah, we may have like a very quiet first quarter of 2024.
I mean, I'm gonna be all right until the Super Bowl, and then I'm gonna be fiending for something outside of football because there will be no more football after February. So
Football will be my Band-Aid. But y'all need to go see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Seeing it Saturday.
Yeah, because I know you got to see the early screening of it.
And I'm seeing an early screening on Saturday.
It was good.
Okay.
Take the grandkids, Simone.
Maybe.
Okay.
Don't take the grandkids. Go
by yourself.
The grandkids will not appreciate the turtles.
They might. I mean, they wanted to go see Barbie, and I was like,
They'll appreciate the turtles. They might not appreciate the soundtrack as much as us adults.
Oh, trust me, I heard the soundtrack was fire. I'm looking forward
absolutely
to the tracks on there, especially since Ice Cube is one of the voices.
Right.
Yes.
And this takes place in New York. So I'm looking forward to some hardcore New York hip hop in this movie.
He's a turtle?
No.
Ice
Cube, I believe, voices the main villain. Here's the kicker. The voice actors for the Turtles are literally all teenage boys.
Yes.
2 of whom are black.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I stumbled across a YouTube video with Seth Rogen, and he was talking about how they found the voices for the Turtles. And I was happy, not just happy that they found actual teenage boys to do the voices, but 2 of the boys are African American. So I love that. And
hopefully they'll tie it to that one comic that when the Turtles took human forms, they were all black.
Well, look, April O'Neil is already black because she was always intended to be black. And you look, I know there's a section of the population who is pissed off about that, and
they'll be all right.
Talking about not my April. Yeah, your April was supposed to be black from day one.
Exactly, but she changed. She had a whole Jerry curl.
So that whole and that's part of the reason why I don't like the 80s cartoon, because they made that decision.
Yeah,
to
that's
change
true.
her from
And
black
she's
to
been looking that way ever
a redhead
since.
Reporter. I'm like, a news reporter? Really? Y'all had nothing else better to do? But everything was done then to sell toys. So I get it. I have the toys still to this day.
Exactly.
But latter Turtle series are more akin to what the comic book was. The 80s series did set it off, but not a fan of it at this point.
Yeah.
Well, she's black.
She's black.
She has locks.
Yeah,
and she's plus size. So
trifecta.
She's my girl.
Yeah.
And
my sister's name is April, so
what
I can
other
relate very
person is
well.
going to take care and be able to deal with turtles, but a black New Yorker? Come on now.
Yes.
Don't give me no white.
I mean, if you've seen Transformers, Rise of the Beast.
Yes.
If you have seen that movie, I am glad that they casted the human protagonist in that film as a Latino male and a black woman.
Yes, it was perfect.
Because I'm like, in that era, white folk in New York lose their shit.
Especially the area of New York that this was taking place in. I was just like,
so
it's not the Hamptons.
Anyway.
Right, not the Hamptons.
But everyone, thank you so much for tuning in and engaging in the comments. For those who are watching the recording, definitely still engage in the comments. We'll definitely see them and definitely respond. But we're definitely looking forward for having our After Dark panel. So yeah, the next Marvel/DC thing will be Blue Beetle will be next, and then we have Loki 2, and then after that the Marvels. So yeah. But everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. And y'all have a good evening. And yeah, and if there's something outside of Marvel DC that is part of the geekdom umbrella that you'll love the After Dark panel to talk about, message us, comment on it, like something you'd like them to discuss, and I'll bring it to them. And
me and Teresa got our show next week. Y'all need to watch that.
So definitely tune in. They're gonna be talking about all things pop culture, geek, everything from their perspective, and even like, cool new stuff that's come out that is for the geek culture. So yes.
I saw something cool that came out.
What?
What's that?
A self-transforming Grimlock that's like $1,700.
Yes, I saw that.
If you love me, you'll kick in $5 at least. Or just buy it outright for me.
I thought you were gonna say if we love you.
This is the one that's going shopping.
Both that one and the
Take it away from her.
Optimus Prime too.
Yeah, but the Transforming Optimus Prime now comes with the trailer, because when it first came out, it was $750, and now that it comes with the trailer, it's close to $2K.
Yeah.
Okay.
And everything transforms by remote. They also have a Bumblebee that they quietly dropped that no one knew about, but
they just slid it in like we weren't gonna notice.
I got 5 on it.
Exactly.
500? You got 500 on it? I appreciate the 500. Thanks, Teresa.
You got
Teresa got 500, y'all.
Dollars.
We got great one of those how like Amazon will have it when you do a housewarming or a baby shower, you can put an item and everybody can contribute to it. They need to do that for their wish list. Like James could put it on there, everybody add some money until it's paid off, then boom, he gets surprised and he gets it in the mail.
I'm all for it. Everybody kick in, and I can get this.
I have fashion hauls to finance.
I'm just saying. I'm about to say Teresa got too many clothes to
That's right. That's right. And you have to catch me before T-shirt Tuesday.
I mean, yeah. I would love to compare T-shirts with you, Teresa, because I would like to know how many you have right now.
Because Teresa got me doing that too. I've got so many.
There's a difference.
Geek T-shirts.
I've got geek T-shirts from every.
I stopped counting mine after 200.
T-shirts. Yeah, you might have me on the geek T-shirts, but
I stopped counting my geek T-shirts after 200. So I don't know how many I have now.
I got to count mines because they all up on the. I have them in boxes. So
I'll let you, once I get that room straightened up, I'll let you see the T-shirt wall.
I'm sorry, the room with the hanging closet and everything, really?
Yes, my dressing
never
room.
Is what you're saying, never.
My dressing room.
Mm-hmm, your dressing room, so never.
Yeah. You're probably right.
I see the TikToks. I know which room you're talking about.
Yeah. But you've only seen one little part of one wall.
Oh God.
She got 3 other walls.
That's right.
And all them bags on the floor. So this is what I picked up today. Is this bag? This is what I picked up today. Oh, let me see.
That's why I have to keep my ass in the house, because if I go out, I mean, if I walk out the door, $150 is just gonna fly up out my purse. So that's why I gotta keep it in the house.
This chick makes me go out because I'm like, where did you get that from? Okay, now I'm out looking, knowing damn well I'm not supposed to be buying anything. Then I'm telling my husband, oh babe, no, I ordered that way back and I forgot all about it.
It got delayed because of the whole pandemic. It just arrived.
Right.
It just arrived.
Sure did.
I ordered this in 2020.
Who you trying to convince, me or you?
And I pre-ordered something today, Simone, but I'm not gonna tell you about it.
You're gonna leave it for the episode?
Yeah, I'll leave it for the unboxing.
All right, y'all.
Okay. Everybody, have a good night, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye, everyone.
Bye, guys.
So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will.
If this the land of the free, it was a freedom then, when they annexed Hawaii and called it Cedar Lands, without any type of payment and no signing off. Called themselves the Republic in 1894. 1.2 million acres overtaken from the native Hawaiians. When they resisted, the West retaliated in violence and erasure. The Hawaiian language is banned as part of colonialism's plan to expand, yeah.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.
So if you put Hawaii into perspective, well, Black and Asian history is interconnected. Considering the fight with the Pacific, then of course, versus Asia, they was treated as a middleman for war, but didn't let the Western colorism run its course, cause dark skin was a sign of dignity to core. The land was taken in the name of capitalism, when prior to it was an actual kingdom. Clap back at the system.
Stuck between a rock and a hard place. Multiple bombings of Kaho'olawe as a part of their ongoing war with Asia. Used it as a place for target practice. No consent or compensation. Colonizers call for annexation. No work out for all the locals. School will never let you know. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. So many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. Too many stories left to tell, even if we have to ourselves. Can't keep history on the shelf. If we won't tell it, we will. We will.